Happy Friday, everybody. Hope your day was grand. Mine was great. Got out of the house to go shoot some photos for work and spent the morning looking from a hillside below Deer Valley Resort onto the Jordanelle Reservoir. Not bad. Um, Not sure why, really, but I've decided today's first pages will be Michael Herr's Dispatches, one of my favorite books about the Vietnam War. Herr was a correspondent for Esquire magazine, a new journalist, sent to cover the war, and he published his book in 1977. It's just a collection of vignettes about his experiences in the war, and it's really odd compared to the way wars are covered now. Um, Using the language of more recent years, I guess Herr was embedded with units who'd venture out and engage the enemy, then commonly he'd be back in Saigon in time to have drinks at the hotel bar every night. So it's really wild. I remember once a professor of mine at USU commented about the book, and he said that he thought it was a disjointed hodgepodge or something, and I raised my hand and told him I thought that was the point. I said, pretty well told the story of the war that way, because it was lived by reporters and Marines and soldiers just like that, a day at a time survival. He said that made a lot of sense to him. I think I got an A out of the class. Um, so anyway, it's a hell of a book. Herr went on to work on the screenplay for Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket too. He's one of the co-writers. It's well worth reading. So here then is the first page or so of Michael Herr's Dispatches. Going out at night, the medics gave you pills, Dexedrine breath like dead snakes kept too long in a jar. I never saw the need for them myself. A little contact or anything that even sounded like contact would give me more speed than I could bear. Whenever I heard something outside of our clenched little circle, I'd practically flip, hoping to God that I wasn't the only one who'd noticed it. A couple of rounds fired off in the dark a kilometer away, and the elephant would be there kneeling on my chest, sending me down into my boots for breath. Once I thought I saw a light moving in the jungle, and I caught myself just under a whisper saying, "I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for this." That's when I started to drop it and do something else with my nights. And I wasn't going out like the night ambushers did, or the LRPs, long-range recon patrollers, who did it night after night for weeks and months, creeping up on VC base camps or around moving columns of North Vietnamese. I was too close to my bones as it was. All I had to do was accept it. Anyway, I'd save the pills for later, for Saigon and the awful depressions I always had there. I knew one 4th Division LRP who took his pills by the fistful, downs from the left pocket of his tiger suit and ups from the right, one to cut the trail for him and the other to send him down it. He told me that they cooled things out just right for him, that he could see that old jungle at night like he was looking at it through a starlight scope. "They sure give you the range," he said. This was his 3rd tour. In 1965, he'd been the only survivor in a platoon of the Cav wiped out going into the Ya Drang Valley. In '66, he'd come back with the Special Forces, and one morning after an ambush, he'd hidden under the bodies of his team while the VC walked around them with knives, making sure. They stripped the bodies of their gear, the berets too, and finally went away laughing. After that, there was nothing left for him in the war except the LRPs. "I just can't hack it back in the world," he said. He told me that after he'd come back home the last time, he would sit in his room all day. Sometimes he'd stick a hunting rifle out the window, leading people in cars as they passed his house until the only feeling he was aware of was all up in the tip of that one finger. "It used to put my folks real uptight," he said. "But he put the people uptight here, too. Even here."